Hey everybody, Bob Babbitt back here at Breakfast with Bob. Boston Marathon Edition. We're presented and hosted by Hyland's. Stop your cramp, not your race. By Polar. Check out the Polar Vantage M and the Marathon Edition. And by UCAN. Perform, workout, energize. And those three words, perform, workout, energize. That sounds like Rick Hoyt reincarnated. How you doing, buddy?
Good, I'm doing very good. Thank you very much. Yes.
I notice, and first of all, Rick Hoyt, a legend both at Boston Marathon and running circles, as well in the Ironman Hall of Fame, but usually there's somebody with you.
Yes.
Your son Rick, where the heck's he at?
Unfortunately, Rick got pneumonia.
Yeah.
And he has the flu and stuff, and he's recovering fast because he's picking on people already.
Is he picking on people at the hospital?
At the hospital, yeah. And one of my other sons went in to see him, and Rick told him, he says, "Look, I'm getting tired." He said, "I want you out of here. I'm going to take a nap."
So he basically kicked out his brother.
He kicked out his brother.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Dick, when you first pushed Rick in I think it was a 4 or 5 mile race, did you have any idea it would lead to what it's led to?
No, there's no way, because I was not a runner.
Put this guy a little closer. Just closer.
I was not a runner. You know, when Rick asked me to run, Rick was attending a South Middle School out in Westfield, Massachusetts, and his gym teacher got him involved in all the gym activities with all the other children, and he was also the basketball coach at Westfield State College.
Yeah.
And he used to take Rick to the basketball games. Well, at one of the basketball games, they made an announcement that one of the lacrosse players from the college was in an accident. He was paralyzed from the waist down, so they're going to have a charity road race to help him raise some money. And when Rick came home from that, he told me all about it. And he said, "Dad, I have to do something for him. I want to let him know that life goes on, even though he's paralyzed. I want to run in the race."
Here's Rick, who's dealing with his own issues, worried about somebody else.
Exactly. Yep. It was unbelievable. And so we went down to the race. It was a 5K race, and everybody thought that we'd just go to the corner and turn around and come back.
Right, sort of ceremonial, right.
Right. But we didn't. We finished the whole 5 miles, coming in next to last, but not last. And we got home that night. Rick wrote on his computer, "Dad, when I'm running, it feels like my disability disappears," which was a very powerful message to me. If you think about it, somebody with cerebral palsy that can't talk, use their arms and their legs, and now he's out there running and his disability disappears. He called himself Freebird because now he was free and able to be out there competing and running with everybody else.
And when Rick was first born, you were basically told to institutionalize him.
When Rick was born, the doctor said, "Forget Rick, put him away, put him in an institution. He's going to be nothing but a vegetable for the rest of his life." We still haven't figured out what kind of vegetable he is. But at the time, my wife was 19 and I was 20 years old. And we said, "No, we're not going to put Rick away. We're going to bring Rick home and bring him up like any other child." And this is what we have done. Rick has been mainstreamed and included all of his life. Today, Rick is 57 years old. He's graduated from public high school. He's graduated from Boston University. He travels all over the world competing in road races and triathlons. And it's just amazing what he's been able to do with his life. And, you know, people didn't want Rick going to school. And
really?
Because Rick couldn't talk, yeah. So what we did, we met some engineers from Tufts University in Boston. We talked to them, and they said the same thing. And I said, well, tell Rick a joke. And they told Rick a joke, and Rick cracked up laughing.
Right.
And they said, wow, maybe there is something there. So they said, if you get us $5,000, we'll build a communicator device for Rick. $5,000 was a lot of money, but the Hoyt family raised it $5,000. We gave it to the engineers, and they built the very first communications device for Rick. And everybody was betting what are the first words Rick is ever going to say. Well, his mother's saying it's going to be, "Hi, Mom," and me to Dad, no, it's going to be, "Hi, Dad." Well, the Boston Bruins were going for the Stanley Cup, and the very first words he ever said was, "Go Bruins."
Go Bruins.
It's unbelievable.
And being in Boston, as you're running in more and more races, I'm sure you want to do the Boston Marathon.
Oh, yes. We really wanted to do the Boston Marathon, and they turned us down.
They turned you down.
They turned us down.
There's a statue of you on the course now, by the way.
That's
You
right.
and Rick. Right.
That's
at
right.
the start.
Yeah.
But early on, they wanted you to qualify, and at the time you were in your 40s, 50?
40s, yes.
You're in your 40s.
40s, yeah.
But you had to qualify at Rick's standard time, which was
Rick,
what, 2:45?
Yes, exactly, yes.
2:45. You had to
Yes.
go run a 2:45, pushing Rick.
Exactly, yes.
And you went to Marine Corps Marathon.
Marine Corps Marathon, right. And we ran a 2:44, I believe it was. Yes.
And so then they had to let you in.
So they had to let us in, and we've been running the Boston Marathon ever since.
And you
matter of
became
fact,
legends here.
That's right. For the last 7 years, everybody's been saying, you guys are the Boston Marathon.
You are the Boston Marathon, no question about it.
Yeah.
You're also the Ironman Triathlon.
Right. Yeah.
And when you first went, and I'm guessing, because Dave McGilvery was both a run event guy and a triathlon event guy, I'm assuming one of your first triathlons was with Dave.
It was with Dave down on the Cape Cod.
Okay.
It was an unbelievable experience, you know.
And trying to figure that out, you got a boat. You got to get a bike for both of you, and then you got a push rig, and this was probably even before baby joggers were invented.
Oh, yes. There wasn't anything available when we got started, so we had to kind of build things ourselves. Until now, we got people. Actually, right now, we got people building Team Hoyt running chairs.
The Team Hoyt running chairs are amazing.
Yeah.
And you go to races, there'll be 20, 30, 40 people there.
Exactly, yeah.
How many people you have racing here?
We got probably 15 that are running.
I love it.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things is you come over to Ironman in 1988, and I think you were sick that year and didn't get through to swim.
Right.
But the following year you came over, and we think about it by today's standards with equipment, but back then, with you and Rick on the bike, and the bike itself, it's 400 pounds?
Yes. Yep.
Right? 400
yes,
pounds.
Yeah.
And then you're pulling him in a raft.
Right.
Right? And people there's usually 4 or 5 people hanging on the raft
Yeah.
that you're pulling them through as well because, because you're a strong guy.
Yeah.
But when you're riding out on the lava fields and you've got a 400-pound bike and the winds are going and the helicopters blowing Gatorade all over Rick.
I'll never forget that. It was the first time we were going out on the bike and the helicopter came down. They want to get a shot of us.
Of course.
And, Rick sits in front of the bike, and I have some Gatorade in there, and I was giving Rick some Gatorade, and the helicopter come down, and it went all over Rick's body. And so he had to stay that way for the rest of the bike and the run.
And so when you're trying, you have to make sure that you're staying hydrated and eating,
right.
that Rick is staying hydrated and eating,
right.
Sunscreen, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing.
No, it's not. And we came across the finish line, instead of Gatorade, they had a bottle of champagne that was squirting all over Rick and I.
So now you can't see anything. You're still got in your eyes. What was that feeling like the first time coming down Lee Drive? And if I remember, I mean, you ran a fast marathon pushing Rick.
Yes, we did. We had a very fast marathon.
Because I'm sure people were worried about you making the bike cutoff time.
Yes,
and then once you made that, they were like, okay, you'll probably make it.
Yeah.
But was it touch and go getting to that bike cutoff time, or did you make that pretty easily?
No, we made the marathon pretty easy, but the bike was
the
toughest.
Was the toughest one, right?
There's no doubt about that. Yes, with the hills out there and the wind blowing, it was pretty tough.
When you look at coming down a Lee Drive that first time, is that one of those special moments?
Yeah, it was unbelievable because we were going so fast. We were passing a lot of people going across that finish line. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
And you and Rick have traveled all over the world,
yes.
Racing and speaking.
Yes, we have. We've done Ironmans in Canada, we've done Ironmans in Germany, and we've done Ironmans in Japan. And we've done other triathlons in El Salvador, too. And they were at war when we were down there. And they had people in boats with guns behind us when we were swimming. And then when we went on a bike, they had pickup trucks with people with guns, and the same way on the run. It was just unbelievable. And El Salvador is a poor country.
Right.
And they told me they usually only have 20 to 25 people watching it. Because we were there, they drew over 8,000 people.
Watching the race.
They did not believe our story. They said, oh, this is in the United States, and it's not real. But it was unbelievable. We never got across the finish line because there were so many people there. And then I got lost in the crowd. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't find my family already. All of a sudden, this motorcycle comes down the road, and there's a big guy on a motorcycle. He says, you Dick Hoyt, you're coming with me. I said, I'm not going to argue with you.
So with the different events you've done, and were you surprised when the NBC feature aired, right? NBC did a feature when you and Rick did Kona.
Right.
And that was a beautiful piece by
Right.
Lisa Lax.
Right.
Did that change things for you guys in terms of the awareness?
Yes, it did. Yes.
It just
now everybody wanted us and accepted
wanted
us.
you, yes. But
Yeah.
it's funny because back in the day, nobody wanted you.
Nobody wanted us, right? Yeah.
And what do you learn from that when people originally, seems like people's original answer is always no.
Yeah.
And we see that with our challenge athletes as well. It's always no, and then eventually it gets figured out.
Right.
But I'm guessing, as a guy who's heard no a lot,
Yeah.
you realize that's sort of the beginning of a conversation.
Our message is yes, you can. There isn't anything you can't do as long as you make up your mind to do it. And that's our motto.
How excited are you and Rick about what's been happening with the Hoyt Racing group?
It's unbelievable now what's happened all over the world.
I know.
Right now. We got like 14 or 15 states in the United States, and now they call themselves Team Hoyt and then the name of the state.
Right.
And now we've got people in Ireland that are starting Team Hoyt. It's doing them in Sweden, and you know we're building Team Hoyt running bikes now, and they had it. A time there where Rick and I were there with the chairs so people could come over and talk to us and look at the chairs. Well, we're standing there, and all of a sudden this guy comes up to me and he says, "Are you Dick Hoyt?" And I says, "Yes, I'm Dick Hoyt, and this is my son Rick." And so he had a bag in his hand, okay? And he reaches into the bag and he pulls out a shirt, and it says Dick Hoyt on it, and underneath his name and his girlfriend's name. So he reaches in the bag again, and he pulls out another shirt, and it says Rick Hoyt on it, and then his name, you know? And he says, "We're from Russia."
They're from Russia,
He said,
and
"We're
they're running as part of Hoyt, Team Hoyt.
And they bought 2 running chairs. But he reached in the bag again and pulled out a bottle of vodka. Then he reaches in the bag again and pulls out some chocolate.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
This is a good guy to know.
Yeah, and then he come up and he says, "You know, we're from Russia. We bought 2 Team Hoyt chairs. We want to start a Team Hoyt over in Russia." And he says, "We'd like you to come over and do some speaking engagements and compete in races over here." So you can see it's affecting the whole world.
I love that.
It really is, yeah.
Does that surprise you, how big this has gotten?
It did at first, but it doesn't now. And I think it's going to get bigger and bigger.
When you come to a place like this where there is a statue of you on the course, can you walk 5 feet without people stopping you and wanting a photo?
No, you can't. It's really.
You need your own security.
Unbelievable.
I could probably apply to become your security guard.
Yeah.
And try to take care of you guys.
Oh yeah, there's one thing else about Russia.
Yeah, yeah.
I told the guy, I said, "Look, I'll call up our president, Donald Trump,
Yeah.
and have him send Air Force One up to pick us up and fly us over to Russia."
Bring the vodka. And bring the chocolate.
Yeah, but we're really not going to Russia. We got a lot of other things to do now. But maybe someday it may happen.
Where's the coolest place you've been?
Oh, geez, we've been to so many. I'd say Hawaii for the Ironman Triathlon.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, we had a special time in Japan, too. Because over in Japan, they have children like Rick and all that. But you don't see them out in public. So when Rick and I did the Ironman over in Japan, they sent 2 of the biggest TV stations in Japan and to do a documentary on Rick and I. And now you see people like Rick living, learning, working, and playing just like everybody else, and it's unbelievable.
Having your son become a role model for so many other parents,
Right.
so they can see that, wait a second, there is hope. My son or daughter doesn't have to be left behind.
That's
they can
right.
be part of anything they want to do.
Anything, yes.
So you have to be so proud of what Rick has done.
Done. It's unbelievable. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, it's
Dick,
awesome.
as always, thank you for taking so much time.
No.
And now, how are you feeling? You're not running this thing.
No, I had the back surgery,
Yeah.
and 3 or 4 months ago I got bit by a tick.
Oh, my God.
And I didn't know what a tick was. But it's unbelievable. It affects your mind and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else. And, you know, I travel a lot to do speaking engagements.
Right.
They wouldn't even let me go on a plane or anything else. But I'm coming back now, and Rick and I are going to start running again.
Love it.
Yeah.
Give my best to Rick.
Yes, I definitely.
I called him Ricky for a long time.
Right.
Then I realized, you know what? Back then it was like, I think he's 40 now. I better quit calling him Ricky.
He's 57
and now
now.
he's 57. Oh my God. Dick Hoyt has been our guest. Dick, thank you so much
you.
for always taking time. Always an honor to have you. Actually, my favorite story with you was when we had you out for San Diego Triathlon Challenge, our CAF
yeah.
event. You brought the boat, but forgot the plugs. Forgot the plugs. So we went from door to door at La Jolla Cove. We found some guy with like a fishing trawler.
Right.
Took the motor off it.
Right.
And then you and Rick went out, and the waves were 10 foot.
Yes.
And we couldn't bring you guys back in, so we had to have you go all the way over to the shores to get you out of the water.
Yeah.
We got to get you guys back one year. That was a fun weekend.
We'd love to come back. We have so much fun. You guys do such an awesome job. And helping all these other people in the world. It's
so
amazing.
much fun. We're over $100 million raised now.
Wow.
It's been really cool.
Awesome.
Last night we raised $4.3 million.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
awesome.
no, yeah, 4.3.
Yeah.
4.3.
Well, you know, we're raising money now for other organizations, and we've raised over $1 million for Easter Seals.
Love it.
And then we got other companies that support us, and we raise money for them. We don't get any money. We give it all to all these companies that are helping people who are physically challenged.
You're the best.
Yeah, thank you.
What a legend you are, my man. Thank you so much, Dick.
Thank you.
Dick Hoyt has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon Edition. How about a round of applause for Mr. Dick Hoyt? And Rick, where the heck are you? Don't leave me hanging out here again where I got to talk to the old man and you're not here. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.
Thanks a lot. That's awesome.